Always lose.
You cannot get.
No.
So this is our room in Osaka. Here is the bathroom. Here's the shower and also a bathtub. It's big enough for 2 people to take a shower at the same time. And here's for hanging clothes. The bed. And the view. This hotel is in the middle of Shinsaibashi. It's very central. But now it's late, so most of the stores and restaurants they turn off the light already.
Converse. Oh, fancy. Keine bunte Converse. Yeah, they have the train crossing and make the sound. How much? 500 yen. 500 yen points.
So today we have reserved a room in Kanidoraku for lunch. And we got a super big room. And we order from this tablet. And here actually is normal sit, it just pretends to be like you are sitting completely on the floor.
It's not really sitting on the floor, yeah.
Now we also have tempura, and what is this?
It was fast. So in 12 minutes.
Platform.
The rapid Kyoto Maibara, yeah.
Yes.
Platform 8.
ご乗車ありがとうございました。JR 東名線でホーム上の確認をしたため、列車に遅れが出ています。
Also some blossoms already. Summer coming out. Oh yeah, sure, why not?
Wow, so many bridges.
Yeah, a lot. There. Pretty. So pretty, isn't it? Here? Aha. Yes, it's nice to not have many people. Yeah, there's a blossom stuck in the tree.
Let's go. some open.
Oh yeah. Some opened already.